Hello buddy, and welcome back to this final video where we're now going to start to build a basic texture for this asset. So this knife is a fairly simple knife and the texture is going to be fairly easy to create, so let's jump ahead and get straight into that. So I'm going to jump back to the normal here, and as this is essentially complete, I'm going to collapse this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a copy. And the reason I want to create a copy is I want to use this to go ahead and deal with the color map. So let's just jump back here a moment. And okay, so with the normal map selected, let's see, I have nothing here ready for me. So I'm going to jump over to the channels and I'm going to just take a look at these channels here. Okay, and I'm going to copy the red channel. And paste. And then the green, let's say I copied the red, the green. Copy this, paste. And let's see, RG and B. In this final one. Oops, I'm in the wrong section here, so wait to go back here. Let's start this over again. So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna choose channels, I'm gonna choose red. And where's I gonna do that correctly? So Control C, go back up here. And then let's turn this off, and then let's go to green. Okay, new layer, paste, and then let's combine these together in a way that makes sense. So something like this is going to be great for an outline. It's also going to be good for other purposes. So we took the two colors in and changed it to difference, and I'm going to collapse these. So you can see this is already great for something like maybe some sort of glossiness and shininess and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and get into this. So let's turn this off. And I'm going to look at where these lines are here. So let's jump back to our texture. So our reference, sorry. So we have orange and this black color, and that's essentially it for these. So let's sample this orange and just bring this up a little. And here's what I'll do. Choose B, and I'm just going to paint along these seams here. And I'm not going to be too neat with this because I can quickly delete a lot of this information out using the UV. So if I just paint along where these areas are, then I know I'm definitely going to be stopping or staying within those boundaries. So let's go ahead and quickly paint this like so. Okay, and looks like we have painted completely over this, which is not what we wanted at all. So let's see, we're gonna have to do this again. So let's set this to difference again. With this, merge this. Okay, now we can bring up the new layer. Press B, and let's quickly just go ahead and do that again. Now, depending on how good you want your texture to look, you should spend more time on it than I'm essentially going to be doing with this. I'm just doing this really for the purposes of the tutorial, just to show you how I guess I would go along and deal with something like this. Okay. So let's delete this. Let's do the same over here. You also have to consider the fact of whether or not this is actually going to be a weapon that is ever going to be seen up close. So if you're dealing with a game and it's not really going to be seen up close, you know, it's really down to you on how much detail you put in this. I guess the idea is you want to achieve a balance where you don't spend too much time on this if it's not going to be something that's ever going to be seen within the first person. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to now select the black from the UV. I'm going to go to let's see, select, modify, contracts, 2 pixels, and I can go back up here, delete them, and we'll get something that looks like this. So if we turn this off, then you can see that this is going off and over to the right direction here. And I mean, even if we took this as it is now and we went to File, Save As, and I'm just again going to dump this to the desktop, and let's choose knife diffuse. Okay, press M, bring up the diffuse color. Okay, and choose this. Okay, so you can see that we had to get this, or beginning to get this texture on here. You see it's only being applied to one side at the minute. That's because of the UVs. Obviously we need to deal with the screw and this middle or black section here. So let's carry on here. So let's take this and choose grey. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to add this smaller sort of detail in here later, and so for the purposes here I'm going to have the orange and grey separate on a separate layer. I choose B, and go ahead and paint this in pretty quickly. So let's do this. Okay. Fill this in, press B, fill in a little area here that it doesn't seem to capture. And if we want this to be perfect, like we had with the orange, we can do that same process again with the selection. So select, let's see, select, modify, contracts, 2 pixels. I always use 2 pixels, just so I have a little bit of a padding or a little bit of a bleeding over the seams. And so if we now go to File, Save As, go down to Tagger, choose the knife diffuse here, press OK, and jump back over here. Like you see, we have that middle section in there too. Now we can also, if we want to, turn this back on and go back up here and pull this down, okay? And we may want to do this just to, let's see, let's bring this back up and just to get this in here, so something like this. Okay, and it's probably best to start naming these. Screw. Grey handle. Okay, and I guess what I'm going to do with these is put them inside a folder. Call this normal. And pull these in here. And let's create a new folder. Call this diffuse. And I'm going to pull all these inside here. Okay. So File, Save As, Tagger, Knife Diffuse, and this should give us this here. So this is a little bit too big here. So I guess what we can, the easiest thing to do is to select this. See, select, modify, contrast, let's see, contrast 5 pixels, a little bit too much. Let's try 8. Okay, 8 looks well fine. So select, inverse, delete. Turn this back on. File, save as. Let's see, Tagger, Knife Diffuse. It's okay. I was going to press Control S. Choose knife just to save the PSD here. And when we go over here, you see we have something a little better. So we still have some cleanup we need to do here and so on and so forth. But as you can see, it's slowly going together here. So you get the idea here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and I'm just going to continue adding these flat colors here, and I'll come back once I have both of these handles done. So I have jumped ahead a little here and added some overall diffuse color. So I just need to save this out. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and again drop this down to diffuse. I'm also going to press Control S to save what we have here, and I'm going to jump into jump into the into 3ds Max here, sorry. So I'm gonna hide this as we don't really need this no more. So you can see we have the base diffuse, and a lot of the shadowing is coming from the normal map here. So let's go ahead and start to add some pattern to this. So if I jump over here, you can see that this sort of orange texture sort of thing has this sort of noisy pattern. Now to simulate this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new blank layer. I'm going to press D, and let's choose a neutral grey 128 by 128 by 128. So I'm going to drop this on. Now if I right click and go down to blending options, I believe there's a pattern in here that looks pretty close to that. So we have something like this. Let's see what else I have. Okay, so here's something I've created previously, which looks pretty close to this. So let's see. If we look at that in terms of the scale of this, let's see how this sort of, yeah, so this looks okay. So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna hold and select this, and I'm gonna choose mask, turn this back on, and you can see we've sort of masked this in here, and this is exactly what we want. And to get this detail from here on here, let's go through some of these blending modes, which don't seem to be having any effect. So let's bring this directly above this here. And we could lower this, I guess, bring this in. This might be a little better, I don't know. Let's see, can we, let's see, rasterize layer, try this. Okay, so this looks a little better. So let's jump over here. Okay, let's try overlay. No, so we'll stick with multiply. And we'll bring this down a little. Okay, so now we can go file, save as, and we can see how this is working on our diffuse. So you can see now we have these patterns on here, which are a little stretched on the top, but I'm not too bothered about that actually. So we have that on the front and the back here. Now, okay, so here's where we're going to have issue here. We have this. Let's fix this. So I'm going to convert this to editable poly, and I'm going to select here and here, and I'm going to bridge these. Okay, and then if I go back to unwrap UVW, we need to start to deal with this issue right here, this stretched issue. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is going to be pretty easy to fix. Break this. gonna do this to here. Okay. So now when we pelt this, start pelt, choose commit. All we really have to do is just really make this really small. Okay, the diffuser's on. Make this really, really small. I'm gonna go tools, relax. Okay. And we only really need this to be so small that it can fit inside here. There's going to be no detail really seen in this part, so we can do that. Okay. And there's another issue somewhere. Okay, so it's right about here. So let's see what's going on. Let's see. Okay, so it's just outside. So we'll just pull this in. We could also fix that in the UV map, but I'm just going to pull this in. So we have that inside here. And I mean, if we look at the reference on this, it actually has this little metal piece on the inside, but I just chose not to add that in there. We can do if we want, but I chose not to. Let's sample this, zoom out, and let's add this inside here. It's going to make sure that we have this shininess, or the correct color, so it matches the blade. Okay, so next thing, let's add the pattern on the gray area. So let's see. It has this, I guess, I don't know how you would describe this, metal pattern type material, or metal, I don't know, just like a grip. So I'm gonna launch Google and choose grip texture. Let's see what we can get here. We may alter this a little so it's not exactly what we see. Let's see something. Let's see what we can do with this. No, let's see, what else can we get? So yeah, this is something might probably take a little bit of a creative diversion, I guess. Get something that we like. As to what that is, I don't know yet. Okay, so this looks okay. So we'll use this. This looks pretty close to what we had before. So I'm gonna copy image. I actually want that image. Can I do it like this? Oh, looks like I can. So choose direct. Which doesn't seem to be working very well. Okay. Finally did it. So let's image crop. Black and white. And so I'll go with something like this. So let's see. Scale this up. Transform, flip, vertical. Merge layers. Okay. So this needs to be around about here. And I need to make a secondary copy. Pull this down to around here, do this. Okay, so now we can merge these two. We can select these. We can go to select, inverse, delete, edit, transform, scale it a little bit. Okay. So now we can bring this detail in. And actually I think that's going to be fine how it is like this. Maybe a little less tense. Something along these lines. File, save as. I guess we can close these, go back to Max, and see what we have here. So we're slowly getting there. Okay, we have the patterns. Let's look how far. I mean, so these have no pattern, and I guess this has no pattern inside there. So, yeah, what we can do is let's see, turn this back to 100%. Do this. Do this. Okay, let's remove this back down. And let's go ahead and start to pull this out of the texture. So this is becoming quite a long video, so I may stop this soon. So yeah, so what I'm going to do here is just go on the inside of these. Not too much. Not really too interested in being super precise here. I just want to get that smoothness on the top. The fact the pattern needs to be spread anyway is going to help a lot. So it doesn't really matter to me if there is sort of smoothness on the outside of this area. So I mean once we've done this, we're almost done, to be honest with you. The rest is going to be in the renderer. Okay, so make it a little smaller. So yes, I mean what I'm going to do is bring this back up and change this back to multiply. Put this back on. Okay. So we go File, Save As. Let's drop this back in as a tagger. Choose Save, press OK, go back here. And so we get these grips back. Okay. What we could do, if we want, is take this base color, image adjustments. Let's see, hue saturation. Actually, now we could just leave this as. So press OK. And yeah, so we got this. Let's go back up here. So we need to copy that at the bottom too. So let's see. Let's go ahead. And do that. Let's see at the bottom. So I'm going to pause here while I do this, and I'll be back soon. Okay, so I am back, and I'm just going to save this out. Okay, I actually like the fact that those grips are just a slightly little bit different in color, so I'm going to leave those as they are. Okay, and the final thing is maybe to add some of that sort of brushed effect on the knife right here. And then after that, really the rest is down to really the engine, game engine, and so on and so forth. So last but not least, all we need to do here is do something along these lines. Okay, and let's choose something like this. And then we're going to go to filter and do something like this. put this really high here. Okay. And once done that, I'm gonna go edit, transform. Okay. Transform scale. You just really sort of small like this. Put this all the way along. Something along those lines. Do this. Mask that out. And again, go ahead and do something along these lines. Give it this time it's a color burn. That's fine. Maybe not make that those stacks. This a little lighter. Save file. Save as. Oops. This is still saving it wrong. Okay, file. Save as. And let's choose tiger, knife diffuse, and so on and so forth, and go ahead. Okay, so now we have our knife with this brushed effect. This right here is this color because I would use this in the engine to get some reflection and so on and so forth on there. So we've essentially created our knife. We have set up all the normals. We have textured it. The next thing to do is to drop this in the engine. So again, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to finally import this, set up the material, give you a brief sort of run through about what it is I have done, and then the video will end. So I'll be back in just a moment. So I have gone ahead and imported and set up the asset here. So this is what you would essentially end up with. So let me just let's see, turn off the collision here. And this is the knife, it's all set up. You can see we've got the normal, we've got the grips and the screw and all that other sort of stuff. You can see there's some shine and reflection to the knife. Now it doesn't show up very well here, but this will actually reflect like metal. And so let's just close this down. Oh, well actually, let's just quickly look at the material here, what I have. And you can see how shiny it is there on the material. So I have the diffuse that goes into the diffuse slot here, and I have those hooked up to the texture coordinates. Set to 1. I don't really need this, to be honest with you. Delete this, delete this. Okay, and save this. Okay, and I have a normal normals here with just a little bit of intensity. I'll just double this up for the engine. I have a specular and a reflection here, and this reflection goes into the metallic, and then I have this going into a 1- and the 1- going into the roughness to give it that really sort of shiny effect. And all I really did with let me see, the reflection, as you can see, it's just where the blade is. Okay, and the specular is just basically a black and white image of the diffuser. But let's see, let's save that. Once you have that and that material is compiled, then this is essentially what you'll end up with. This is the knife complete, well, complete to a certain degree. You can go ahead and start adding scratches and dust and dirt and all that sort of stuff to this if you were to take it further. But for now, I think that is about as far as I'm going to take this video tutorial series. I thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my future videos.